21-year-old Sifiso Mkhwanazi has been found guilty of the rape and murder of 6 sex workers. Judgment was handed down just earlier this morning in the High Court sitting in Palm Ridge. The women were killed between April and October of 2022. Newzroom Africa's Ziniko Mhlaba was in court and he joins us live now. Ziniko, one can just imagine the relief in some sense for those people who work closely with these women, their friends and their families, about this outcome in court this morning.
That's right, Michelle. A lot of people who were in attendance, especially those who work very close, as you just said, with the victims, are happy that there's been a guilty verdict handed down by Judge Kasim here at the High Court in Johannesburg. However, there's some who still feel that, the father of Mr. Mkhwanazi might have some answers, to provide to the court, and therefore some form of action, whether it's an investigation or just being called so that he can explain some of the things, because they believe that there is no way that those bodies could have been in that facility where he was working, where he's running his business for such a long time without him, picking up any form of signs that there might be dead bodies in his business place of operation. So that's the sense from the victims, especially those who are supporting the victims. But let's get a sense now of how the state feels about the victims and what is it that they feel must happen next. I'm joined now by the NPA spokesperson, Sifiso Mkhwanazi. Thank you very much, Sifiso, for joining us. Give us your immediate reaction as the state following the verdict that Mr. Mkhwanazi is indeed guilty, with the court commending the state for doing and tabling such strong arguments.
We welcome the guilty verdict as the NPA. It is a reflection of the seriousness of the criminal justice system in combating gender-based violence and also in ensuring that the perpetrators of these reprehensible crimes are held accountable for their actions.
I mean, the judge said that he believed completely the argument and the evidence that you presented to the court. However, some pro-victim people who've spoken to are saying that maybe the father might have some stuff to share. Do you believe that that is indeed possible, or is it a closed case now as far as identifying the accused?
Well, we believe that we brought the right person before court, and today the court has pronounced on his guilt because of the evidence that was presented by the state. As you heard yourself when the court remarked about the state case, that we were able to prove our case beyond reasonable doubt, and indeed we remain grateful to the testimonies, including that of the father, because remember that the father was one of our witnesses. So together with the testimonies of the investigating officer, was able to explain the DNA analysis as well as all other evidence that was found at the crime scene. So we are certain as the NPA that this was the right person that we brought before court, as the court is in agreement with us, and hence it was able to deliver a verdict of guilty.
All right. There was a suggestion by the judge that Mr. Mkhwanazi might need to be evaluated, should be, taken in for psychiatric evaluation. Did you also get a sense that he needs to be checked on in terms of his mental state and that he be declared a dangerous criminal?
Indeed, we supported that view as the state, that indeed the court is in need of a risk assessment report that must be compiled by the psychiatrist after an evaluation is done on the accused, whether or not to determine if there were other factors that could have led him into committing these crimes. So we believe that the court will be placed in a better position, and as the state, it will also help boost our argument in arguing for a stringent sentence, because once he's declared a danger to society, obviously then it changes the whole picture in terms of the sentence that he must serve, because the court will obviously, if he's declared a danger to society, the court may make an order that probably after 20 or 25 years of serving his term, he must be brought back to court. So he does not automatically then become eligible to be seen by a parole board, but rather must be brought back to court so that the court can decide on his fate going forward.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's Ms. Mjonendwana there, just giving a sense of how the state is feeling. Well, Michelle, I can tell you right now that what became very interesting was that proposal by Judge Kasim saying that Mr. Mkhwanazi might need to be checked so that the court can have a report that will determine whether his mental state, and how that mental state could have contributed to Mr. Mkhwanazi committing those gruesome murders, saying that, and both legal representatives actually agree that looking at the state in which those bodies were found and how the murders were committed, something might have been behind Mr. Mkhwanazi's actions. So that's the latest we will be getting when we return to court in May to get whether Mr. Mkhwanazi can stand and can actually be able to remain in custody just like any normal criminal, or he might need to be checked and also be sentenced based on the matter and the description and definition that is indeed a violent and a dangerous criminal to society.
Ziniko Mhlaba left us there at the High Court sitting in Palm Ridge. Thanks very much indeed for that update.